Praise the name of the Lord. It's finally your turn. Shiloh 2021. It's finally your turn to operate effectually, continuously in the realm of more than a conqueror. I said, it's finally your turn. Lekwe communities yarosha, nekante prodi anekunias, yashiege boria de kinboliat. It's finally your turn. All over the world at this time, wherever you are, I'm partaking of this prophetic feast. I announce to you again, it's finally your turn. It's finally your turn. Now, lift up your hands and give God thanks for making it finally your turn. Finally your turn. To gain command over issues. Finally your turn. To gain command over your health. Finally your turn. To gain command over your business and career. Finally your turn. To gain command over your family life. Finally your turn. It's finally your turn. Lord, I thank you for it is finally my turn. I believe you and I believe in your prophet. It's finally my turn. 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 In Jesus' precious name, we have proclaimed our faith. And again, I tell you by the Spirit of the Lord, this is finally your turn. You may have been hearing other people's testimony over time. It's your turn for the world to hear your testimony. A young man just returned from outside the country from his studies. And suddenly 4 major organs of the body crashed. The kidney, the liver, I think lungs or something. Lungs. And the heart. But he was standing here last Sunday. He was standing here last Sunday. You know, before a downpour, there's always a bright cloud. Ask of the Lord in the time of later rain, and the Lord will make bright clouds, and then a downpour. 4 organs of the body, vital organs of the body. You know, the heart, the kidney, the liver, and the lungs. It's finally your turn. There is no one alive on this ground today that will not be alive and well and robust by Shiloh 2022. In the name of Jesus. I have come to you tonight with the fullness of the blessing of the gospel. Amen. finally tonight. Well, the good news is you will return as a new man.
Amen.
In the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus. Lord, I'm ready for your word one more time. I'm ready. I'm ready to hear your voice. Ready for your word. Ready to hear your voice. I'm ready to hear your voice, Jesus. I'm ready to hear your voice, Jesus. I am ready to hear your voice, Jesus. In Jesus' precious name we are praying. Lord Jesus, all of us are gathered at your feet. Cause your voice to be heard. Your own voice. Reduce me to merely a microphone. Cause your voice to be heard. I'm eternally privileged to be your microphone. But cause your own voice to be heard tonight. And every time you access the voice of God, a testimony is born. For in his temple, they all speak of his glory. The glory of the voice. You will hear his voice. Give the Lord a big hand of praise. And sit down, please. Operating in the realm of more than a conqueror. Part 3. We had part 2 in the morning, one of the sessions. Tonight we're looking through the tap root of supernatural faith, where it actually stems out of. So you know where to turn when you desire the firing of supernatural faith into your spirit man. Every form of unbelief is evil. The Bible talks about the evil heart of unbelief. Hebrews 3:12. The evil heart of unbelief. Why? He wants to rob God's people of their inheritance, which they cannot take delivery of without faith. So he goes in to corrupt the heart of man against the truth, so he can make away with what belongs to them. Satan has never repented. Just like God is the same yesterday, today, and forever is the same. He's still a deceiver. He's still a liar. He's still very subtle. So we need access to what can rescue our heart from unbelief. And that tap root is Rema. What is it? You can't hear his voice and doubt him. His voice is powerful. His voice is full of majesty. Now, reading, studying, learning, meditations will only build your faith. But the voice of God stirs supernatural faith, which is your vital access to the realm of more than a conqueror. Supernatural faith. All the ones I mentioned earlier are revelation. This one is inoculation. It's an inoculation of faith that runs through your being all at once. Naomi Kosinia Keradosh Amelatosa. Now wait. What I say to one, I say to all. There are no private revelations in scriptures. What is said to Wigglesworth just fired the reality of my spiritual authority over principalities and powers. What I say to one, I say to all. And there are no private testimonies in the kingdom. Every testimony is a pointer to our heritage. Psalm 119 and verse 111. Thine testimonies have I taken as an heritage forever, and they are the rejoicing of my heart. No private revelation, Mark 13:37. And no private testimonies, Psalm 119 verse 111. That's why I say when you are challenged, you will hear the voice of teacher behind you. What your teacher heard that he told you of in that kind of situation, you simply engage with it. You hear the voice of your teacher behind you saying, this is how to handle it. This is the way to go. Isaiah 30 verse 29. You shall have a song as any night. The Lord will cause his glorious voice to be heard. Though I give you the bread of affliction, the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet I will not remove your teachers far away from you. 2021 of Isaiah, the same chapter 30. But you will hear the voice of your teacher in the midst of the challenge saying, man, I heard God at so and so time on this subject, and man, I just grab it. The voice reverberates, resonates in you, and then your victory, a walkover. Please understand this. You have direct access to the voice of God. I know my sheep, and they know my voice. You don't have to be a pastor, a preacher, an apostle, a prophet. I know my sheep, and they know my voice. Many years before I got called into ministry, I've been hearing God's voice distinctly, directly, unmistakably. Now, tonight, in the name of Jesus, I command your spiritual ears to be open. In the name of Jesus. Now, many are just used to hearing, learning, meditating, but they have not seen the place of the voice of God. Now, but let me tell you this. Behind every statement of scriptures is the voice of God. My mouth it has spoken, and my spirit it has gathered them. Isaiah chapter 34 verse 16. And I'm the Lord, I change not. So my voice is still resident behind every statement of scriptures. For all scriptures are by the inspiration of God. Amen. The Spirit gathered those things and his mouth spoke them. Something's breaking loose in your life. Nothing destroys doubt like the voice of the Lord. Ezekiel 36 and verse 25. Ezekiel 36 and verse 25. Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and shall be clean from all your filthiness and from all your sins. Now, go back to verse 24, please. And I will take you from among the heathen. Now, a new heart will I give unto you. I will take from you the heart of stone and give you the heart of flesh. He does that by the instrumentality of his voice. His voice comes and it breaks the cedars, even the cedar of Lebanon, the hardest of trees. So no matter how hardened we may be in unbelief, he steps in and makes a new thing in our life. Tonight, you are returning as a new man. Amen. Somebody believe that? Let me hear your loudest amen. Amen. Check for me Ezekiel 35 and verse 26, please. Ezekiel 35 and verse 26. Thank you, Jesus. Supernatural faith is injected by the voice of God, which makes men more than conquerors. Deuteronomy 28 verse 1, if you shall diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord your God, to the voice of the Lord your God, and to all his commandments, which I command you this day, that the Lord your God will set on high above all nations of the earth. The voice has such power within it to set anyone above all nations of the earth. The good news is this: beginning from tonight, the voice, access to the voice of God will destroy every evil heart of unbelief in anyone. Jesus said, the word has spoken to you, they are spirit and they are life. And his word liveth and abideth forever. Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So there is life in the world. We have life encounter with God through his voice in his word. And that's our injection for supernatural faith that empowers believers to operate in the realm of more than conquerors. Tonight is your night. 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 It's your birthright to access the voice of God. Let me hear you say that, please. Say, it's my birthright to access the voice of God. The voice of God is an asset indeed to the believer. Is an asset indeed to the believer. It destroys our doubts and launches us to the realm of supernatural faith that puts us on top of situations and circumstances. Let me illustrate by the following. have not designed life for ups and downs, but for ups and ups. He was speaking to me behind Proverbs chapter 4, verse 18. Ups and ups. Ups and ups. The path of the just is ordained to be as a shining light that shines more and more, no more and less. That was where I set myself against a better yesterday, a better last year. And that's why we have never seen a better last year to date. The voice of the Lord behind this word. Lord, show me the secret of prosperity. And then it came down on the third day. My son. Come and see the voice. That's not revelation. That's Rhema. Revelation shows me, Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 18. Rhema addressed me to destroy any iota of doubt on that eternal plan for the redeemed. My son, David, my prosperity plan is not a promise, so it does not answer to prayers. It's not a promise, it has no respect for fasting. My prosperity plan is a covenant. Until your part is played, I am not committed. So it's not no guesswork. I've been saying that in the ears of many of you now for many years. Has it been edited? The voice of God inoculates the believer with unshakable faith, supernatural faith. Now, I've never needed anyone to encourage me on that covenant details. Not once. That's March 22, 1982. No mistakes, not a preaching that I had. It's not the reading. I read all those books before, but I couldn't see it. I couldn't see what it is. And now someday, somebody called me from US. He said, you know what? I said, what? I don't know what until you say it. He said, you are listed as the richest pastor in the world. I said, they are not making mistake. They are not making mistake. You don't beg, you don't borrow, you don't take loans, you don't talk to bankers. Then what does it mean to be wealthy? And you are not down. You are up and up and up. By the voice of God. We have not expended financial resources in this ministry like the last 2 years. Under lockdown, under COVID and variant. You can't lock down the voice. What's injected is superior to what is happening. Now, you don't need to now hear that. You have heard what he said. What I say to one, I say to all. You can pray till eternity. It won't change your financial status. I heard from God. Not that one devil. Except the devil who can break the covenant of the day and the night. That will stop the sun and the moon from showing up. Then may his covenant be made invalid. His covenant is as standing as his covenant of the day and of the night. Of the sun and of the moon. So stop talking about one witch is pursuing you. Now who should witches pursue? In this place now, more than this short man. Because he's a big fool, he's a bastard. That's right. The devil and all his agents are bastards. Amen. You know why I'm saying that? I have seen me seated far above. Please understand this. You are going somewhere. This is where I encountered the mercy of absolute dependency on God. I was in Psalm 34 verse 5, and the voice came, my son, you have two eyes. That's not written. That's the voice addressed to me. Can you make one to look up and one to look down? And I tried it. So anytime you are looking on to man for help, don't claim to be looking unto me. But if you fix your eyes on me, you'll never be ashamed. The voice. So man is the last to think of if there is any need, any day, any time. And there's not been any. There's not been any. The law of absolute dependency on God. I had it from God. And from one silent scripture like that, they looked unto him and they were lightened, and the fish were not ashamed. Just from that it didn't look like it. But the voice behind it, the voice behind the writing of that, the dictation of that came alive. I will lift up my eyes to the heaven, for whence cometh my help. Send us help, O God, because vain or limited is the help of man. Come and say, vain. Limited. The help of man is helplessly limited. Helplessly. I told them in the powerhouse, by reason of those revelations, that all the salaries you will earn till you die cannot run this ministry. So don't think that you are in this forum so you can bring offering. Cannot run this ministry. Now we are approaching gradually 40,000 staff in this country alone that are paid unfailingly every month. Now, who will promise you that? We say, go ahead, any amount, anything you need. Who has that capacity under heaven? Who has it? Not that they don't want to do, but they don't have it. They don't have it. A new day dawns on your life today. Thou art the fountain of life, and through thy light shall we see light. Psalm 36 and verse 9. For with thee is the fountain of life, and in thy light shall we see light. So whatever God shows to you is accessible and available to us because we belong to the same family. A good man leaveth an inheritance for his children's children. So we have a common inheritance. So whatever he tells you, he's telling others, you want access to that inheritance, this is the way to go. From tonight, faith will become as easy as breathing on all matters of your life. Can you imagine the wickedness of the wicked? Hello, come. When did your father have a child that can be married? Let me see any of you will marry again. Life, not in a dream. Anyone without Christ is an embodiment of wickedness. Anyone. Okay, what's paining you that somebody's daughter got married? What's your problem there? Amen. Did your son want to marry her before? No. He just can't stand that your daughter is getting married. How? I'll show you Pepe. Nobody here will marry again. And all of them got married the same day. The same year. The same year. And by a prophet, the Lord brought Israel out of Egypt. And by a prophet was he preserved. You are coming out of every satanic siege in your life. Whosoever has vowed against your inheritance must go down for you. Your inheritance of a good old age, whosoever has vowed against it must go down for you. And so shall it be. The voice of God is still real today behind this world. The voice of God is still very real today. Very real today in the lives of God's people. No one here shall miss that again. Rema is the fountain of supernatural faith. You can always go to the book and say, God, speak to me on this matter. Speak to me on this matter. Hear how God blasted death on our last daughter. I said, Jesus, there must be a way out. And then he showed up. Life. I'm he that was dead. I'm he that I'm alive. And I live forevermore. And have the keys of hell and of death. And I'm holding it in your favor. My God. That's not revelation. That's Rhema. I'm holding it in your favor. I'm holding it in your favor. For I will contend with them that contend with you. And I will save your children. That's Rhema. We have to be careful because Satan is all out to destroy faith by all means. Jesus himself said, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? I know why. The word of God, there shall be a famine of the word of God, because people will lose their responsibility to accessing it. They will just fail in their responsibility. That's not accessible to the carnal. Only the spiritual can know it. The carnal can know it. The natural man receives not the things of the Spirit of God because they are foolishness to him. Neither can he know them because they are spiritually discerned. There shall be a famine of the word of God. People will run to and fro for the word, and they are running around today. The merchant prophets are having a field day. Merchant prophets are having a field day. Now, thus said the Lord. Two women living opposite your house. They are vowed to kill you. But I'm taking you somewhere. I've taken people there like that. Even pastors have taken them there. It's marketing you. It's marketing you to disconnect you from God and miss your place and your inheritance. They're having a field day. They stand by the roadside. They look at who is culpable. I think that one looks like a troubled man. They call him around. Are you a Nigerian? If you say no, do you come to Nigeria often? Because you have no access to the voice of God, you become a victim of the voice of the stranger. And so it just messes you up, and your spiritual life just down to zero level. Can't hear from God. A dead man can't hear nothing. Now, how do I assess the voice of God? What does it take to assess the voice of God as a believer? Number one, be born again. He doesn't know you until you are born again. I know my sheep and they know my voice. The voice of the stranger they will not follow. I know my sheep and they know my voice. I know my sheep and they know my voice. You can't access his voice without becoming one of his sheep. Number 2, be spiritual. He can speak to you at any time. To be spiritually minded is life and peace. Be spiritual. You connect with the world, which is life and spirit. Romans 8:6. His voice comes through via a still small voice. So study to be quiet. It's a thing you discipline yourself to. Study to be quiet. During that challenge, I locked the door of my office and sat on my chair. Jesus, there must be a way out. That's not the time somebody comes in or knock on the door. I want to connect with heaven's frequency. So I said, study to be quiet. Study to be quiet. God, I need to know which way to go. Study to be quiet. Lord, I need to know what step to take at this point. Study to be quiet. Study to be quiet because the word is coming via a still small voice channel. Coming via the channel of a still small voice. Like in the experience of Elijah. There was an earthquake. Bang, 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 bang. God was not there. There was fire. God was not there. Then a still small voice came with the answer. A voice came with the solution. A voice came with the answer. If you don't tune in on the right frequency on the radio set, you won't hear what they are saying. You have to tune in. We have to tune in. We have to tune in. Through desire, a man having separated himself, seeketh and meddleth with all wisdom. Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 1. That's a call. Diligently hearken to my voice. Diligently hearken. Make sure you get across. Create an environment for it. At the time I went to the field to worship, and I was there in Isaiah chapter 48 verse 17. I'm the Lord that leadeth in the way that thou shouldest go. I'm the Lord that teacheth thee to profit, and lead you in the way that you should go. And the voice came out and I said, I'm committed to leading you if you are committed to following me. I'm committed. So just be committed to following me. I will never be tired leading you. He has never stopped leading because I'm eternally committed following whatever he says. The voice destroys all doubts. Destroys all doubts. Destroys all doubts. I heard from A.W. Tozer that great scripture. My soul followed hard after thee, O God, and thy right hand upholdeth me. Psalm 63 and verse 8. And the Lord said to me, the harder you follow me, the higher you fly. So there will be very many hard instructions I will give. Just keep following. The harder you follow, the higher you fly. So we kept following, sir. Most of the time, very disturbing instructions. Like, come down to Lagos. Disturbing. It's disturbing. We're having very nice time in Kaduna. Disturbing. Come and start afresh. Disturbing. Are there no great ministries in Lagos? Too many. Arise, get down to Lagos. But I already heard that. The harder you follow me, the higher you fly. He must be laughing in heaven. You haven't seen anything yet. I'm taking you to a place where nobody will agree, including yourself, to go. And so when we came here, I was very angry to get here, sir. Very angry. I said, Father, what are you saying? This is the place. And it's the voice I have been used to since 76. He's succulent, banatoric sound. I can't pretend not to hear. This is the place. And I say on the spot, God had just spoken. This is the place. We came to this hard place under that hard instruction. And we changed altitude. Hallelujah. The ministry changed altitude. The ministry changed altitude. There are many immovable people. The moment you stop responding to what he commanded you last, you can't access the next. You can't access the next. But when the voice comes, it destroys all doubts, all staggering, all struggling to respond. You are getting there. Amen. Lift up your right hand. God, I need access to your voice. Now, pray that with some intensity for 1 minute. I need access to your voice. 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 In Jesus' precious name, we have prayed. There are no private scriptures. Every word of life, every statement of scriptures applies to whosoever believes. So you can connect with the voice of God via those who have heard the voice of God on issues that are in line with those situations. And you come out of it. It's not they said, it's God who said. We are talking about the voice of God, not the voice of a man. The voice of God behind this word, which is sent to all of us. So, every true voice of God is applicable to whosoever else we believe. But when you gain personal access to his voice on issues, it makes a world of difference. Hear what he said. You seek me first and my kingdom, and all these things that others are dying to get. It's not in that verse. To inject it into me shall be added unto you. All these things that others are dying to get. You keep seeking my kingdom, leave me to those additions. They are my responsibilities. Keep seeking my kingdom, I'll keep adding to you all other things that others are dying to get. They are dying to get. They are confessing until they are confused. Keep seeking the interest of my kingdom as your priority for living. And all these things that others are dying to get, they shall be added to you. I was not in ministry when he told me that. So it doesn't apply to ministers, it applies to whosoever believes. Seek ye first my kingdom, the interest of my kingdom, the enlargement of my kingdom, the advancement of my kingdom, and all these and others are dying to get shall be added to you. I can't separate from that. Everything lost value from that day. There is no value on my life that I sought for today. That I desire this. One of my sons returned from the foreign mission and he came to the house. He said, this must be a dream come true. I said, I didn't dream. I didn't dream. I didn't dream. I didn't dream. I'm looking for what next to do to promote his kingdom. I'm out to take advantage of every opportunity to be part of those who promote his kingdom. And he has since stopped adding adding and adding and adding. From tonight, God will not stop adding color to your life. If you will just line up with that seemingly hard and heartless command. Hard and what? Heartless. You don't know me more than all. You are not fit to be my disciple. Include yourself. They look hard, but they are the keys to your high places in life. Line up, and you'll be glad you did. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Now, good news. God said this to me, and I heard him very clearly. I went searching for the power behind the ministry of Ezekiel. I said, God, show me the secret behind the ministry of Ezekiel. Who sees whatever he said? It was Ezekiel that said that drove me into that episode. Lord, I want to go through this book on this mountain. Show me the secret behind the ministry of Ezekiel. And I prophesied as I was commanded. And then there was a noise and a rattling and the bones came together. And as I beheld, I wasn't pushing. I saw flesh cover them. And I saw skin cover the flesh. And the valley was full of corpses. And he said to me, prophesy, son of man, to the winds, to the four winds, that they breathe upon this land. And I prophesied, I was commanded, and there arose in that valley of dry bones an army, a great host unto God. A great host unto God. I want to see this, Jesus. What's behind this? On the third day, when I finish, I give thanks to God because I know I've met you, but I haven't heard from you. On my way back, getting ready to go, and I heard his voice very loud and clear. Behold, I have touched your tongue with a coal of fire. From henceforth, as you say it, you will see it. Whatever I say concerning your issues tonight, I will see it happen. I said to that young man, to his picture, not to him, that had 4 major organs that crashed. The father brought or sent his picture through one of my sons here. And I spoke to the picture. The organs bounced back. As you say it, you will see. Every terminal situations on your head stands terminated tonight. I heard the voice of God in July 1999. We were still trying to complete the roofing of this place, and we're going to dedicate it in September. It took me 6 days to create the word and the fullness thereof. I will not need 2 months to finish an ordinary building. 2 months, too much. I came back from that trip and I told the people, 2 months, too much. September 18 is a reality. 2 months, too much. Roof was not completed, so the electricity and all that stuff, and you can't talk of sun. And we have 2 months to go. 2 months, too much. Did it happen or not? As you say it, you see it. Every impossible situation that follows you to Shiloh gives up on you now. Somebody stood there during the testimony time, maybe yesterday or somehow, and said they gave her the date of her death. Jesus reverted it. Hear me. There is no irreversible case with God. There is no irreversible case with God. Nothing is too late for God. Nothing is too late for God. Therefore, tonight, whatever been termed irreversible is declared reverted. Behind that authority is Isaiah 44 and verse 26. I am the Lord that confirmed the words of my servant and performed the counsels of my messenger. Whatever they desire to see, he said, I'm committed to confirm it. Whatever good they desire for those who hear them, I'm committed to confirm it. Therefore, I declare sickness and disease caused from the root in your life. One great gift you are living here with tonight is the clarity of your spiritual hearing. This will no longer be a story to you. Beginning from tonight, you shall start hearing the voice of God. On all issues of interest to your life, you shall begin to hear the voice of God distinctively. On all issues of interest to you. In the name of Jesus. 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 Everyone called barren, everyone called impotent, everyone whose heritage of children are yet to be released, I declare them released tonight. I declare them released tonight. There shall be waves of instant miracles now. There shall be waves of instant miracles now. Every pain, every ache, every discomfort, every symptoms of death hovering around anyone's life shall vanish now. In the name of Jesus. Just before this prophetic ministration, which has already begun, there are people in here tonight that need to say yes to Jesus. That gives you access to the table instead of waiting for the crumbs. You need to say yes to Jesus. Save my soul. Make me a new creation. Forgive me my sins. And turn me to a member of your household. Wherever you may be tonight, under the sound of my voice, here in Canaan and across all our viewing centers, you'll be glad to know that one of the centers yesterday was over 11,000 people. Amen. Wherever you are gathered tonight and you want to say yes to Jesus, save my soul. Whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. The father leaves an inheritance only for his children's children. A good father. We serve a good God. So his inheritance is our exclusive preserve. It's not for the jack and hardy on the street. It's for the children of God. You are here tonight. Jesus, save me. Stand to your feet. Jesus, forgive me. Stand to your feet. Everyone that wants to give his our life to Jesus, stand to your feet. It's your turn at last to step out of the kingdom of darkness and be free from the torture and the torment of the wicked forces of hell. Wherever you are, come up here. Stand to your feet wherever you are. Just stand up. All across the nations of the earth. Jesus, save my soul. Stand to your feet. 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 Now, everyone standing up in all the locations around the world. Now, move towards the altar area. The pastors are waiting out there for you. Move on there. The ones here, move on quickly here. Move on quickly here. Glory to God. Miracle worker, come and do your miracle today. Destiny molder. Let's rejoice in the Lord, they are coming.
Miracle worker, you are the miracle worker. Come and do your miracle today. Come and do your miracle today. Miracle worker, that is who you are. Come and do your miracle today. Come and do
Jesus a big hand of praise. There is joy in heaven. Come now, rejoice with a shout of hallelujah. For all of us that have appeared before the altar of the Lord around the world at this time, please bow your head with faith in your heart and pray this simple prayer of faith after me. Lift up your right hand to heaven and pray this simple prayer of faith after me. Say after me, Lord Jesus, forgive me my sins. Wash me with your blood. I believe you died for me. On the third day you rose again, that I may be justified. Right now, I accept you as my Lord and Savior, and I believe my sins are now forgiven. Thank you, Jesus, for saving my soul. Thank you for translating me from the kingdom of darkness to your kingdom of light. Thank you, Jesus. By your grace, I shall serve you to the end of my life. Thank you, Lord. Can't you see now? It's finally your turn. You have stepped out of darkness tonight. You have stepped out of torture and torments tonight. Now, keep your hands up as I pray. Father, I pray over these precious individuals. Your grace has brought them in to your kingdom. Let the same grace preserve them. You will remember today for good forever. Your name is now registered in the kingdom of heaven. You won't miss your steps. The grace that brought you to Jesus tonight, that same grace will preserve you to the end. In the name of Jesus. And so shall it be. In Jesus' precious name. Congratulations, 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 congratulations. Hallelujah. Please complete those forms or slips and pass them on to those kingdom friends standing by you. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. Come on, give the Lord a big hand of praise, everyone. Let's give the Lord high praise. It's worthy of it.
Jehovah turns my life around.